Hey, Anna. Making lemonade from lemons. How are y'all? Hey, Sam. I am shelling beans tonight. Just y'all are interested in what I'm doing. We picked a few more this afternoon, and I have a really busy day putting up pickles and more pasta sauce tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to knock these out tonight while I'm talking to y'all.
Hello, hello.
I think I've said hey to everybody. The bar is down a little bit, but I think I said hey to everybody.
The bar is down. What's that?
Like the sidebar.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll give it a chance for everybody to get on. Hello, Fancy Farmer. How are you doing? Hey, McLeod, how are y'all? I feel like we say this every week. I feel like our garden is ending, and every time then we get on and have tons of food to still deal with.
Yeah, we went out there this afternoon.
Hey,
Actually,
Diana,
went
Justice
out
Acres.
to get
Hey, Henry,
okra,
Sonny's.
and ended up with a 5-gallon bucket of okra, and then there was a ton of squash, a little bit of zucchini. I mean, a ton of zucchini, a little bit of squash, and I went ahead and picked
Hey,
that. And then
Leatherwood.
I saw some beans, and I told Chloe, I was like, "Those are not going to waste. You're going to have to get them." And I started not feeling the greatest in the world, so I just come on in and had to pick by myself.
Hey, Piper. Hey, man, we're used to those 100s and 90s, so sorry about that in Colorado.
Oh yeah, y'all are definitely not used to
Matt
that.
Creek, what's up? How are you doing? Welcome from Arkansas. Kinfolk Farms, how are y'all? Yeah, it's normal here. See, what's so crazy right now is we're used to the heat around this time. 95, 100 degrees is common. It's going to be 100 this weekend. But we've had crazy humidity, which is very common for our area too. But like, if you walk outside right now, you sweat right when you walk out. I mean,
Even though it's
you
not
have to do
hot,
nothing.
it's just.
Douglas,
Oh
thank
my
you, sir.
gosh, thank you so much.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Douglas. We always enjoy your comments when you come by. God bless you as well. Yeah, so we're having some crazy humidity. Again, I said in this last video, I think that it's been great for our grass, though. Like, actually, our sheep cannot catch up, and our cows are kind of getting there, too.
We went over that way, and I was like, why are you moving the sheep? The grass is like this tall still. I mean, it was like well past, way up their leg. And I'm like, so why are we moving the sheep?
We got to move them, though, just to keep them fresh on fresh new grass.
I was like, they still have a lot
if I had access to our back lake and our back pasture, or I had a well over there, that would be the perfect cattle pasture because it is so lush and beautiful. That grass I was looking at today, like it says, it's about that deep, but it's thick too. It's not like splotchy. It is just so beautiful. Like I mean, we don't really have to have tons of sheep, but if they have babies, it's not like we don't have a place for them to go. It is crazy amounts of grass over there.
Well, and we got some good news today too.
You'll never get used to the heat. I don't know if we ever do either. I guess I just deal with it from now on. So, but good news. What good news?
Mr. Ike.
Oh yeah. That is good news. So we have. Hey Stacy, how are you? So as y'all know, we have Ike and Kristoff are our steers at the farm. And of course, we have tons of beef cattle at the other farm, and then of course our dairy herd. So our two steers basically are here. They're eating fresh grass daily, beautiful paddocks. But Ike, we got the call from the butcher today, so Ike will be going to freezer camp in about 3 weeks. Actually, if I had a way to haul him this weekend, we probably would have done it this weekend, but we just have so much going on. So 3 weeks from now, Ike will be going to freezer camp, which is kind of unique. Glad, but
this will be our first.
It's a little disheartening just because we're used to eating grass-fed organic meat. We buy that already, but to have our own right off our farm, not just like our chickens and not just like the smaller animals, but to have our first big steer off our area. So we're excited about that. My kids were like bittersweet about it, I think.
They were like, I can't go in.
That wasn't the plan.
Yeah, we were actually anticipating a few more months. I mean, like, we were thinking 3 more months, and then they called, and we were kind of
let me tell you what happened.
Let
me tell you what happened with the slaughterhouse. We have 3 slaughterhouses, 1 local, and then we have 2. Hey, Grimby Karen, what's up? We have 2 that's probably 30 minutes away, and then we have about 4 that's about an hour and a half away. So that's really our market for slaughterhouses in our area. So the one that's close to us was pretty booked up, but he's not as known probably as in beef as he is hog and deer and things like that. So we went to the next one that we really wanted, which was about 40 minutes away, and they are literally booked till next July. And then we called 3 months ago. Hold on.
We asked the girls to go to their room, and they're literally running around in circles around the couch, which is probably less than 10 feet away from us. So they're getting a chit chat right now. So yeah, we're excited about it, but it is a little bittersweet, like Colby said, because this will be our first actual beef to leave the farm. So we're excited, but I was thinking we were preparing for like 3 months, not 3 weeks. So a little caught off guard, but we're excited about it.
So continuing this story about this slaughterhouse. So most of them were booked up 10 to 12 months in advance, like you know everywhere else in the world. But all of a sudden, this slaughterhouse that we're using actually had a death in their family, and actually they had to shut down their slaughterhouse for about a week.
I think it was longer than
or 2
that,
weeks.
wasn't it?
But
For
the bad thing is, it's like nobody just said, okay, we'll wait. They just like canceled their orders. Well, sad situation and bad for the people that just decided to cancel. But I absolutely called the next week when I knew he opened back up. He was like, yeah, absolutely. You're 10th on the list. We'll call you in about 5 weeks. So it worked out really good for us. And our other one's on the list for the 10-month away because Christoph still got some time to grow. So, man, we were excited about that. So he called us today and set that up. And within 6 weeks, we should have our beef back home and in the freezer that I just bought. So.
Yes, thankfully
I got lucky. I found a freezer too.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's it. Colby just happened to spot one and grabbed it up, and like he had 2 or 3 people. Did you say approached you before you could get out the door?
Oh yeah. So this one didn't go on the video. You know, we bought the fridge. Y'all saw that on the video that day it rained, and we got a fridge, and we filled that freezer up like the day we bought it. I mean, that's how much produce we've had, which has been a true blessing. And if y'all remember, we've done 2 butchers already this year, and we have another chicken butcher in 5 weeks. 5 weeks. So let's talk about that. That means we have another 35 chickens that's got to go in the fridge somewhere, or freezer, excuse me. Well, all of a sudden, we're out of freezer space. This was before the beef was even coming. You know, it was 6 months away. So now here we are. We have this new. We went.
You're right. It was.
I went to. I happened to go to Walmart. Missy was looking for can tops for cannon, and they usually have just kind of a knockoff freezer here and there.
Everywhere.
And all of a sudden they had one sitting on the shelf. One. So I wasn't supposed to ask nobody to help me. I'm sitting there.
You wasn't walking away.
I wasn't walking away from that freezer. So I
I
manhandled this freezer. This freezer is about 7 cubic feet. If y'all know anything, that's not tiny, but that's not big. But I said, by gosh, I'm getting it in this buggy. So I'm like heave-hoing this in this buggy, and somebody finally comes over there, and I thought they were there to try to help us, and they were actually like, "Can we have that? Is this yours?" And I was like, "Yes, I've got all my other stuff in the buggy. This is mine." But I got hit up twice more
before you could even get out the door. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. Anna said that they're having thunderstorms down South Mississippi. We've gotten some good rain showers
what's going
on and off, but no thunderstorms.
Let's see.
All the slaughterhouses have a huge weight here in Oklahoma. We know several of them do here. It's just the one that we had a few in mind that we were going to use, but that one, like we said, there was a death in the family. They closed down for several weeks and was going to push the orders back, like we said, and
people started dropping.
So we just happened to get in because most places here it's a several month wait.
It's usually March to April next year, and the one we want to use is July of next year.
Yeah, it's one that was a little bit further away from us, but rave reviews, just awesome place. We know a lot of people that have taken their cattle down there in the past, and that's who we wanted to use, but That's a really long wait for the situation in the current world that we're living.
And see, Lazy C, we have our lamb. We're probably gonna wait about another 6 months, but we should have a lamb going as well, which we'll probably do that on farm. The hog, the main hog, the big hog,
Sam, you're gonna have to come help because I ain't doing that.
and then the main hog is probably we have three hogs that are getting ready, but one will be sooner than later. So the one will probably be about now, probably a month out, and the other two probably 3 months
I
out.
told him to go ahead and order another freezer because by winter we'll have to have it.
We have, and that's not counting
with the meat that will be coming in this fall. Which
Sam,
we've told y'all this before. This has been years in the making. Like, this was not just an overnight thing. It's not just something that we woke up and said, hey, we're going to put beef in our freezer next week, or hey, we're going to put pork in our freezer. Like, this was years worth of planning, working for, prepping the ground, saving up to buy the equipment and the stuff that we needed to house this kind of stuff. So, I mean, this has been since 2018.
Hey, Heidi, what's going on? Hey, Karen, how are you doing?
We've been working to
Miss Cecilia.
Raise our animals to be able to put in the freezer. So it's very exciting.
Trying to catch up. Sam, we have thought about canning chicken. We're actually
for Father's Day, he was supposed to get a canner. He wants an American.
All American.
I can't do
but
it.
But they're sold out.
They're sold out.
So we're still we're at a hold up there too.
Yeah. So I had priced several of them out. I had also looked at electric scalders for chicken.
How are you?
Several different things that I was looking at for Father's Day, but they were all sold out.
I like my Herbers.
The thing with the All American canner is they're just a great company. They're all American made.
Hey Kim, what's going on?
They replace parts over years. To where other companies just don't do that. A lot of great things about them. They're not the cheapest, but that's what we were going to go for. Just because they're 5-star. Out of all the canners you can get out there, they're 5-star.
Elizabeth, here's what we did. We actually had a freezer the other day. I walked outside. Okay, let me tell you our freezer situation. So we have an inside refrigerator and freezer like anybody else does in their house. Then we have 2 other fridges and freezers out in our garage. Then we have 1 chest deep freezer. We have an upright deep freezer. And then we just bought this other chest deep freezer. Okay, so I walk outside the other day and my upright deep freezer, which has most of our meat, I'd say probably $1,500 worth of meat. I didn't notice it, but I walked into my feed shed, which is our feed room, which is right next door. I saw a lot of water on the ground. I said, where's that water coming from? Well, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, so I guess my mind was not running. I was like, we don't have any water outside. It didn't rain, and why would it be coming here anyway? So I didn't think nothing about it. Went and milked, and I sat down to milk. I said, that water coming in that freezer. So I left the cow in the stanchion. I ran back up here, and my door suction was not suctioning closed because we had so much food in that freezer. So what I did was I was not fixing to lose that meat. So I took a ratchet strap and ratchet strapped that thing down. I looked pure redneck. It was redneck. So my wife one day was like, can you get some meat out? Because I can't get into the freezer. So I literally had to open the ratchet straps back up and get the meat out. So we have cleared out some of the vegetables and tomatoes. So that freezer is back working like it's supposed to, but I was not fixing to lose that meat. Well,
it was in the middle of a major influx from after harvesting all the chicken that we added to it. And then we had all the extra vegetables and stuff coming in. So we just had such a major influx,
Kathy, how are you?
like all at one time.
Yeah, so we have, they was fighting over freezers. Actually, I went back to that same place for like 3 days in a row, hoping they're going to get one more freezer because I got the last one, and I'm just hoping that they show up with another one because I'm going to put that 7 cubic feet right in my buggy again. But today, when I was looking there was 3 other people standing there too, so I doubt I could get one.
Tape.
Man, I
if he would have had duct tape, I'm pretty sure he probably would have used it.
I'd have been really rigging it up. We will have a ton of meat. Like Misty said, it's been such a blessing. Our garden has been just unbelievable this year. Hey, Dawn. our garden has been actually the best it's ever. I mean, I say that every Wednesday, I think, but it just blows my mind when I go out there and see it and all the blessings we get from it. So on top of the gardens exploding, our chicken has done great. We haven't lost. I mean, we've lost probably less than 6% of our birds on both our harvest, and then same way with these, we've lost we've lost one.
One.
We've lost one meat bird out of this last set. Um, we buy her from Purely Poultry. I'm not PR from them. They don't know who I am.
Sure don't get no kickbacks.
But I will say
it.
this: if you're looking for a place to buy your meat birds,
we've been very satisfied.
Purely Poultry has done very good for us with all our birds. Hey Jeanette, how are you doing? Welcome from Ireland.
Now the first order that we ever ordered from, I think we were short a bird. But all we had to do was call and just say, "Hey, look, we were short one bird." But even though it was a few dollars, but they reimbursed us for it. And
I'm trying to catch up.
yes,
sorry.
Stacy, we do.
Yes, we have 2 generators that can run all our freezers and refrigerators if we needed to. We are looking at some solar options as well because we do have a lot of food. We keep.
Somebody just said there's an All-American. 2 families got All-American still in the box.
Sherry was going to email us anyway tonight about something. 2 family was so. Check with her. She said she was going to email. It's on Hank's Live a while ago.
Yes,
thank you.
We are looking.
We're actually looking to talk to her today. I will say this: 2020 has been a year that we can definitely be more. We're vegetable sustainable. We're actually still eating our okra from 2 years ago, so we're really
awesome, lazy seed.
We're 100% vegetable sustainable. Now, if we want to go buy something that we don't have, I mean we can. But to be honest with you, from our spinach to our lettuce to our peas to our beans, if we eat in season, we're pretty much vegetable sustainable, no issue. Yeah. We're eating turnips. We ate turnips last night from last year, so really good. I
got lettuce seed and broccoli seed today. We've been letting them go to seed. I think Colby had shown y'all some of that in some of the videos. So everything has went to seed in the lettuce department except for, and was ready, except for the purple lettuce, which I don't know what it's actually.
That's Stifos lettuce.
So anyway, it's really good, but it's not ready yet. We planted that. We bought it kind of late, planted it last, and it has gone to seed, but they're not ready. Like, I'll wait till my plants completely die before I harvest my seed.
You see, Hat Creek said that he used a ratchet strap. It's still busted off his freezer too.
Oh no!
I feel you.
We just had ours too full, and the door. When I shut the door, I made sure that it was shut, but it must have kicked back out after I walked off. But anyway,
what's up, Craig Smith? Hey, Craig, what? Me and Misty were actually going to ask you.
Because I got broccoli seeds today too.
What broccoli do you grow, Craig? I know you're in our area, and we have a problem with it always bolting because we're in a hot area, humid.
It just bolts too fast.
What broccoli are you growing, Craig? And when do you start yours?
It'll shoot out a head of broccoli, and it's like, it'll get the size of my pinky, and then that's it. It bolts. Then we get flowers.
This is a Mississippi pink eye and a pink eye purple hull. And then also we have some Crowder peas we're finishing up, Red Ripper. So we have 3 different varieties of peas. This is the last picking of all our peas for the spring. So
Destiny, you need to write that down, take a picture.
Where do you get that, Craig? By the way, I'm sorry. This is our last picking, so we just mix them all.
End of August, 1st September.
Yeah, we plan on planting ours in August.
Ours just bolt. I don't even remember where we got ours from, but I saved the seed for several years. And we've done things differently, but it always will produce a head and then bolt, and that's not what we're wanting.
Sonny's Place, yes. We actually are probably in the works of doing that walk-in freezer. Our feed room, if y'all know where our feed room is right next to the garage. It's insulated already, and it's actually got a flooring in it. It's got lights in it. We would come back and put a cool bot in there, and then also put an air conditioner there as well. So I think we can make that a cool room with no issue, and I think it'd be a great addition. And we're just trying to figure it out, the schematics of it. It's always got shelving and everything in there, so it works out really good. Karen, we're excited that you're going to our cabin as well, so we're excited about that.
We miss it.
Y'all find out.
Farm life keeps us here, but it's so fun to get away and go. And Oh, it's so pretty up there.
Karen asked the best flavor carrot. I'm sorry, I can't help you because we pretty much grow seed over seed. And, we have heirloom carrot we're growing. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know where it originated.
I don't either.
So if someone can answer, Karen, if someone knows a sweet carrot from Baker Creek, please let her know. We grow one, and I really enjoyed it. I just don't know what it's called. We've grown it year after year.
I don't know if I have any more carrot seeds.
Hey, Sean, Alaska, what's going on?
I did get all of the lettuce mixed today. I got the broccoli, which we won't be planting this year, just because it did bolt so fast. But I did go ahead and get it just because we're in crazy times right now, and I thought, well, if worst come to worst, you can eat tiny broccoli sprouts. So I did get those, and I also got some asparagus. Yeah, the lettuce mix, cilantro, and some asparagus seeds. Now, I have never gotten seeds off of asparagus. I planted my asparagus from seed, and this spring will be their third full year. Whoop, whoop. But I saw these little red like berries on there, and I looked it up. It said it was the seeds. So I actually got those off today. Will you grab that Ziploc bag?
Oh yeah.
They're very unique looking, but I got those seeds off today, and I do plan to plant those and see how they do. So I'm kind of excited about that. So those little seeds, these little berries have seeds in them, and I am going to plant those. So I got all those seeds today too, which is I think that's kind of cool. I think seed saving. I mean, look, we're doing this homesteading thing. If you have to depend on somebody for all of your seeds, when you end up in Corona, you're gonna be in trouble. The Corona pandemic that we've been in.
Elizabeth, we do make our own kombucha. We have a video of how we started our SCOBY and how we actually did our kombucha. So, if someone can find that link, one of our
where do you get your SCOBYs from? I made my own SCOBY. We have a Whole Foods about an hour away from us, and they have
you have to look for
plain kombucha, and
GT Dave's is about the only place that you're going to find original plain kombucha, no flavor, no anything. And we had to find ours at a Whole Foods because if you buy it online, it's like $60.
Yeah, so I found a store that had it. You want to make your tea just like you normally would, and you're going to use the culture from that. It needs to be room temperature, and you're going to use your culture that's in that kombucha, and it sat for like 4 weeks, and it formed a SCOBY, and I have used that same SCOBY since.
That's our kombucha. You see that SCOBY floating there?
I actually just took that down to one because I had what's called a SCOBY hotel. Thank you, Miss Kathy from North Star. You're the bomb. That SCOBY, I just had to break it down because my SCOBY hotel was getting really big. I mean, it was like several layers thick, and my girls were like, "This kombucha is so strong, Mama, we can't drink it." So I broke it down. It makes it not ferment as fast when you only have one. When you have a SCOBY hotel,
it gets very astringent very quick.
Really, yes. So I just broke it down to one.
But there's what we poured in. We actually we used to flavor it heavy with grape juices and pineapple juices, organic juices.
But when I don't have a SCOBY hotel, you really
we drink it straight.
No need.
So anyways, that's what these bottles are. We just took these bottles. We only bought glass, grape juices, things like that. That's what these bottles are. How we store our seed. We put our seed in a dark cabinet that we don't open unless we are actually getting the seed out.
Okay, and let me tell you, when you get your seed, yes, Grammy Karen, I am still making soap. I have some batches that are almost ready to sell. How do you store your seed? When I harvested my seeds today, I put them in a Ziploc bag because that's all I had beside me. Now, there was a lot of humidity. If you close up that bag with humidity in it, then your seeds are going to ruin. So you need to get them out. I actually just popped mine open, and I've been walking by it, kind of shaking my seeds around to make sure that good airflow gets in there. Because if you don't and they sit in that moisture, they're going to ruin. So I have before used
Oh, for
wax
instance,
paper.
we have peppers
Yeah, I have
and
peppers
zucchini
and
sitting out right now drying.
right, they're on wax paper. The one thing that you don't want to do is I made the mistake of putting tomato seeds on a paper towel once and could not get them off. So wax paper, parchment paper, anything like that the seeds will come off easy. You can put them on there, lay them, and spread them out. I have peppers, bell peppers.
We have jalapeno, bell, banana, and then zucchini all laying out.
Yeah,
on wax paper.
they're in our room on my computer desk. And then I have the broccoli, the lettuce mix, the
We do Shawn, Alaska.
cilantro, and the asparagus in a Ziploc bag. And it's so many of them, and the seeds are so tiny. I'm just going to leave them in the bag, but I have been walking by, like I said, just kind of shaking it up to give it some airflow in there because you don't want them to ruin.
Yes, we
Thank you,
dry
Granny
ours
Karen.
in
I
the
appreciate
air,
that.
Shawn, Alaska. A lot of our seed dries on vine, of course. Like for instance, our peas will dry on vine, our broccoli dry on vine. But again, the humid south, we just want to make sure they are completely dried. So that's when Misty said she'll put them on basically dry in her axe.
Yeah.
So
And Craig said that when his bolted last year, he thought about.
you need to hit
Look,
us up, Craig.
I really do try to be diligent about if I plant something and it goes to seed, I really have tried to be diligent about getting my seeds because I think it's so important. If there's ever a food shortage, you need seed. Well, we've seen.
Hey, Amy, how are you?
We've seen kind of what has taken
Karen
place
said she
with.
wanted 3 bars of soap. Miss
Okay,
Karen, if you'll reach out with us.
Yeah, shoot me an email. I'll have to see exactly what I have and email it back to you, or you can text message me, whatever, and I'll let you know what I have. Thank you, I appreciate that. But in the middle of a food shortage, or I think we had more of a toilet paper shortage than we did food, but y'all seen how hard it was at times to get food. And people naturally tend to, well, if I can't buy the food, then I'm going to grow my food. So if all the seeds are gone and all the food is gone, then you're going to kind of be, like, what do I do? So I really do try to be diligent about getting my seeds, keeping my seeds. If we can buy extra seeds, great. We use some of the seeds, we buy some, but I do try to keep what I have.
Hey, Mandy Summerall, how are you? Karen, it is a typical time for cilantro to go to seed. They're a cool weather herb, so if you're going to seed, that's very normal. Ours went to seed as well. Collect your seed, let it dry, collect the flowers off the seed, basically.
It's gonna form these little balls at the top, and the flower is gonna completely turn to like. It looks like it's dead. You're like, my flower is dead,
That's the cilantro
dead.
Right there. If you can see, I don't know if you can see the little balls.
See the little balls in there, and then they form on the top, and then I just put the little head of balls over in my bag and just pulled them off in there. They're like super easy to do, but make sure your plant is like crispy dry, like brown, dead,
ugly.
Yeah, but that's when you need to get your seeds because they have gone to seed, but your seeds need to mature and completely die out before you need to get it. Because if you get immature seeds, they're not going to grow. They're not going to germinate, sprout.
I think we pretty much we buy peas and beans and corn.
Yeah, last year we did buy
squash
and zucchini because we had such a flop with our.
That's true.
Year before that, we feel like it just was not from a climate that matched our climate, but we had our zucchini is like we cannot control it this year.
Oh, zucchini, cucumber, and squash. Our squash is pretty much
has done really good. I put up probably 10 to 15 pounds of squash fritters.
If you had made those
yeah, y'all, I shared the recipe, and I cooked my first batch last night and just went up to the girls. I asked y'all to stay in the living room or your room. I cooked my first batch last night, and I just went and got them out of the freezer. I fried them. I got them crispy, and y'all, they were probably my favorite I mean, like we've ate like crab cakes and stuff like that before, but these cannot. I mean, they were really good.
When all else fails,
So
deep fry or skillet fry.
Go to my Facebook. Go to the Max on Facebook and scroll down until you find the recipe where I shared squash fritters. They're really easy. It'll tell you exactly what to do. Basically, you're going to use a cup of flour, a pound of squash, salt, pepper, and onions, and you're going to make little patties out of them. And I put mine straight in the freezer. Some people just put them straight in the frying pan. But the key is to squeeze out the juice, which I have never done before. Have you ever done that before? After I shredded it, you put it in a mesh strainer and you literally squeeze out the juice. I was amazed at how much juice will come out of a vegetable like that. But y'all, they were really good. So anyway, go look at the recipe.
Yellow squash is ours too, Lazy C. We're not big squash eaters.
You'll enjoy them.
But that yellow squash is definitely better. We don't grow a lot of squash varieties. We don't do butternut. We don't do spaghetti. We don't do any of those because we don't eat a lot. Or the acorn. I like acorn. It looks cool. I say I always want to try it, but we're just not big squash eaters. But we do eat yellow squash, and we do eat zucchini to an extent. And Grammy Karen says she dehydrated.
I did that with cornbread yesterday.
Grammy Karen
cornbread. I burned them.
Grammy Karen said that she made dehydrated zucchini chips. So we might try that. She said they were just okay.
Yeah,
we have so much zucchini. We got to do something with it.
My kids is a big deal. It's more of them than it is us. So I have to do something that, even if we are not crazy about it, that the kids will eat. Because if I spend all that time preparing and fixing and making or whatever, and the kids won't eat it, then it's like I'm just doing it for me holding. It's almost really not worth it.
See, one thing.
So I would definitely have to let them try. Just do one and let them try it. Now, Sayla loved the dehydrated strawberries. The other kids didn't care too much about them.
I like the apples. They were good. The thing, though, is, too, like, you're talking about the acorn.
She's got it.
The acorn squash.
And the Max, thank you, Granny Karen, too, for that.
The acorn squash and the butternut. I like butternut squash like a bisque. We've had that before. But I can't, for us, last year we just came to the realization that we don't need to grow anything that we don't just love. So we eat a lot of peacock purple peas. And we eat a lot of butterbeans. So we have so many.
12 double rows of those.
Yeah, we have a ton of peas. So as much as I like the acorn and the butternut, me personally, I can't hardly justify making room for it in our garden because I don't know how to cook it for my kids.
That's
like awesome,
a lot. Mandy. I was just trying to make squash like crazy. That's awesome. I have done that with a few things before and kept the seeds from store-bought stuff.
See, I need to try that, Shauna, Alaska. I've never tried doing it like that. Super zucchini bread. We did make zucchini bread, and it was phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie. Misty did a phenomenal job. And the other day, I told her to to film it, and she was like, "I'm not filming this. I'm just too tired." So she made zucchini bread. I'll try to convince her to make a zucchini bread blog, or either just put it on Facebook like she did this other recipe. It was really good. We really like it. It's moist and it's yummy. It really is. Let's see. And see, that's another thing. I saw, like, pumpkins. I enjoy growing pumpkins because they're pretty. I love fall. I love the time of year that it brings. But at the same time, I can't get a taste or can't figure out what the best way to make pumpkins. I mean, of course, you can make a pumpkin pie and I'll eat it. But I saw Hoss Tools one day, and they just put a little, just basically cutting it and putting a little salt and putting a little brown sugar on some, and they were just grilling them and eating them. And I was thinking, man, that looks so good. So if you've got pumpkin recipes too, let me know because I definitely would like to see how to eat pumpkin as well. So a lot of the squash family, the pumpkins, zucchinis, acorn squash, a lot of that we just don't grow because we're kind of dumb to it all. We don't know what the best way of cooking it or eating it. I know you can make anything to bread or anything sweet, but again, trying to be as wholesome and healthy as possible. Somebody asked about zucchini bread. I said, well, Misty made it, and it was great. but she didn't feel like making a video
All
that
right,
day. So
listen. The problem with the videos and me being in the kitchen and stuff is Colby likes to record from his phone. He doesn't like to take videos off my phone.
no, I
And
can't
the
take it off the phone.
camera that I have is very difficult to set up. It's very difficult to focus. So unless I just have a whole bunch of extra time to just play with the camera,
Send it to a sunny place.
it's too hard. Unless like I said, unless I have all of the extra time, because I'm usually doing something
Banana Benda.
and juggling all the kids, and the baby is like he's the one that's always climbing on the counter, spraying the water, trying to get to the knives and cooking utensils, or playing in the flour on the counter. I mean, so like it's to throw in a whole nother element of saying, I'm going to get the camera, I'm going to set it all up. I can't see myself, so then I have to do a test record I mean, it's just too much. So when any recording is done, he does it from his phone, and if he's not home, then it usually.
Amy, thanks so much. Very much. Thank you so very much. We can buy. I don't know. That's pretty high. Let me go back and say this. In our area, if I buy local peas, I can buy 1 pound for $3. So 5 pounds would be $15. If I'm buying corn would cost about what you're talking about, $28. So, Amy, it depends on what kind of seed you're buying. My soybeans cost $25 for about 15 pounds. So that was a little bit more pricey too. Excuse me, 5 pounds. I'm sorry. So it was a little bit more pricey, but just your common seed for us around here, like squash and zucchini and peas, butter beans, all that stuff. Unless you're talking about corn, I pretty much can pick it up for dollars, depending on where you're getting it. Even Hoss Tools and Johnny, the most expensive seed I think we bought online from organic providers was a Johnny Seeds coastal lettuce, because it was a high in demand summer lettuce, and the lettuce you bought from Hoss Tools. Do you remember it? Stipo's lettuce, I think. That was the two most.
I just
that
remember,
was the higher price ones.
It was
5
like
pounds.
Yeah, it was like a lot of seed.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a bad price, Amy. I would just say what you're purchasing. What kind of seed is it? Is it organic, non-GMO? What actually? Where's the root of that seed? I guess you could say.
You are exactly right, Karen. Or Jennings is decorating my sheets, because I was in here doing tomato paste the beginning of last week. Tomato paste. I was doing pasta sauce, like spaghetti sauce, and I had one of the girls that said, "Look, I've got all this stuff in here going. I don't know what Jennings is doing. One of y'all please go back to the back and find him." So one of the girls went in the room, and he had gotten their lipstick, their bright red lipstick, and put it all over the white curtains.
Somebody bought for them. We don't buy them lipstick. So someone bought
them.
It
was a happy that they got.
And that's ridiculous.
It got in Jennings' hands, and it was all over their white curtain that I had to scrub out. It was all over the sheets, all over the comforter, and he was covered.
This is my favorite.
In red lipstick.
So then we washed that. The next day, before it's still in the dryer as we're speaking, during this time, he takes
goes and gets
blue
fingernail
polish off that same happy.
Y'all, I promise we watch him.
And he then colors over the sheets. He's like his mama.
The fitted sheet did not have any lipstick on it. Just the regular sheet and the comforter.
Blue.
So then he went and got the blue fingernail polish. I don't wear blue. It was part of the happies from the girls. But again, they leave it in his reach, and he goes and gets it. So yeah, it's to add. What I'm saying is to add extra, like setting the camera up and trying to get it focused and stuff like that. Unless I just have the extra time, I usually have to depend on him to just be around with the camera and stuff, because it's just hard on me when I'm here by myself during the day trying to get the stuff done that I have to get done, and deal with Jennings.
Hey, if y'all want to share some recipes on the Max Happy Hangout, I think that's what it's called. Homestead Hangout, sorry.
Homestead Hangout.
If you go to our group page, y'all share as many recipes because I need to see all these squash recipes. So like and follow the Max Homestead Hangout group on Facebook. If you are a follower on Facebook,
that's
let's
why
put
you
some of
make
these,
a good team.
these
Thank
there.
you. There are things that he depends on me for, and there are things
Let's
that I
see.
depend on him for, and there's things that we do together.
Miss Kathy,
Blue
how do you
and
cook
color.
your purple hulls? Do you boil them in bacon and onion? We pretty much blanch these. We'll put them in the freezer. When we want them, we'll cook them all day. We like them cooked out really good.
Just simmer on low.
We used to be big on putting a lot of bacon grease in there because we're from the South. We want to just load it up. But we've got to where now we don't put up just salt and pepper. And we'll put a little bacon in there if we want to, but it's not a have to. But yes, that basically onion flavor and anything like that, or onions, that would be good too. If we have fresh onions, we'll put them in there sometimes. They're good too.
You got me on the nail.
Prep Standing with Nana Benda says she is growing spaghetti squash for the first time and is doing awesome. Congratulations.
Yay.
Send me a recipe of why you're doing that because I want to watch it. I've seen people have zucchini spaghetti and then spaghetti squash spaghetti. I just don't think I could convince my kids to eat that. So that's the only reason we
need
don't
to
grow
try
it.
it though. I mean, it's something that we've actually never tried. It would be good for us.
Sam,
to do.
he is a ninja. He is a ninja monster.
Yes,
JJ.
he is.
He will flip off the counter 15 times a day if he could.
Yep. And
he has no fear.
We have kids that come over. We've had cousins. Colby is one of 4, and they have lots of kids. And we have kids that come over that will go down the slide, will jump in the pool. He is completely fearless. He's gone down the slide since day 1. He falls in backwards, even though I get onto him. He jumps in from any angle, any way. He's completely fearless, and that makes me nervous. But he's fearless, y'all.
I'm gonna have to. All these people are talking about all this great way to cook squash, so we're going to have to look into some butternut squash and acorn squash.
That sounds good.
We enjoyed the butternut squash kind of bisque or whatever it's called. We ate from that cook that time. You know that bowl of soup. It was like butternut squash.
Oh yeah,
that was really good. We enjoyed it. It almost reminded me of like a sweet potato.
I'll have to look up.
Hey, Harry, Kevin in the Woods.
Well, I'll have to look up a recipe. I don't think our kids would like it, which goes back to.
So that's why we grow what we grow.
I try to cook for everybody and not just me and you, because the kids are so. I mean, some vegetables they like and love, and some they just don't.
I do want to try something though with pumpkins this year. Because we enjoy the pumpkin season, but I was telling them a while ago I want to find a way to make pumpkins and not just make a pumpkin pie, but make it where people roast them on the grill and things like that. So if you have any ideas for the pumpkins, I really want to try it.
Oh, so speaking of that, because we got sidetracked a while ago and I had to get up. The girls were tired of fighting, so I had to go deal with that. But the topping to the zucchini bread, to me, is what made it.
Yeah.
I put a topping on. It was 1/4 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar, butter, a 1/2 cup.
Tell her to make the video.
Well, leave me your phone.
That's fine. We can.
Butter. So butter, oatmeal.
Thank you, Sean Alaska.
White sugar, brown sugar.
Now, our white sugar is not refined sugar. It's an organic.
I say white sugar, but I mean like the raw sugar in the raw. But to me, and a 1/4 of a cup of flour. It makes it. It makes it. I mean, you can. To me, I will never be able to go back to eating just a regular zucchini bread loaf without the topping. To me, the topping made it, and that's not 1 loaf. That's for 2. So, a 1/2 cup of oatmeal, a 1/4 of a cup of sugar in the raw, a 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I don't remember how much butter.
Karen says, please make the video.
The topping is what made it.
We're going to make refrigerator cucumbers soon. And we're going to video that and also the zucchini bread because that's 2 things we have to do. Yeah. Mandy Summerall says, when do you harvest sweet potatoes? All right. So for us, we will harvest them probably mid-fall. We'll see how the vines are doing once the vines start kind of getting over and abundant.
The ones in the buckets are vining out better.
I know, they're doing great. Well, because they were eating my deer. But now the deer are not messing with them. I'd say probably mid-fall. we kind of watch them. There's no. I mean, you can. The thing about our climate, that's one thing that can grow really good in the South because they like humid, hot soil.
Yep.
So for us, we will watch
We are
them.
like Mississippi is like the state known.
Oh
for
yeah,
sweet
I mean, like
potatoes.
in the Delta, that's like we're like the sweet
That's
potato
like
capital.
what they do.
So we can get tons of. I mean, we can get tons of sweet potatoes. We just try to want to grow them on here too. So we'll probably say mid-fall. I hate to say that because really you could leave them in the ground as long as you wanted to. Down here because we don't get cold till like January. So we'll probably take them up. I'd say mid-fall. I'd probably say Octoberish. I don't really know. I mean, because there's not a for us. They could stay good in the soil.
Triple digits next week.
Yep, definitely. But you know what? Sweet potatoes love 90 to 100 degree soil.
Spaghetti, squash, and straight noodles for chicken spaghetti. You know, we're gonna try that one day. We're gonna put it on our to-do list. Will you have help when your little one arrives, other than Colby and the kiddos? Colby's mom.
What we're hoping is YouTube takes off and we hire a maid. I'm just joking. That's a joke.
Colby's mom will usually provide us our first several meals when we're kind of just trying to get home and get settled. Actually, what is so funny is
we'll be out of milk too. So basically, our cows will dry up here, or freshen up. Excuse me, because they're pregnant. So that's a good thing too, because it allows us to kind of have some time just to not be, January farming wise is not really a busy time for us. So it allows us to kind of be a family and not have to have so much.
Well, and you won't be milking, but I am going to freeze
some milk,
a lot of milk for that during that time. Now Colby's mom typically provides us for several meals. What is so weird is that with my first four, with Aiden, Harley, Eliza, and Selah, I had a little bit. I mean, it took me a little bit longer to recover. She was my biggest baby. She was almost 9 pounds.
What?
I know. She was my biggest baby. And for me, typically I'm only 105, 5'2", so very small frame, a 9-pound baby. I had a few day recovery with her. I mean, probably 4 or 5 days, and I was kind of back up to myself. With the other ones, I mean, I pretty much come home and was back to doing whatever I wanted to do. But with Jennings was a totally different story. I had a really bad labor with him. I actually went into labor on my own, which was totally different for us because I had always been induced for several different reasons. But we had like perfect experiences with those. I mean, as far as the pain, as far as the recoveries, as far as the deliveries, I mean, everything was perfect. And then here comes the little ninja, as y'all called him. I got up that morning, my water had broke. I did not know how far I was because with some of the other ones, I had dilated already to 5 before I agreed to be induced. And so my water never broke with them. So when my water broke with Jennings, I was kind of freaking out that morning because I didn't know how far along I was going to be. We ran to the hospital. We attempted an epidural. I did want an epidural. And it did not work. I actually had to have a blood patch from it not going in the right place. So all of that, he was not positioned right. Like I said, the epidural never worked. So I still ended up with a messed up back, severe headache, terrible positioning, and a natural labor. So it took me a long time to recover from him. I had some tailbone issues. I think that he might have fractured my tailbone. So anyway, it took me well over 2 weeks to recover with him. But Colby's mom was really good about bringing us food and kind of being here to entertain the other kids for a little while.
See, she lives pretty close too. Well, their main house, not the barn house that y'all seen.
I know that my mom will bring us some meals too, which will help just for me not to have to be on my feet as much. And then Colby, usually within a few days, will go back to work. So the biggest thing is entertaining the kids and just kind of having like stuff for them to eat.
Hey, Food Forest Permaculture, how are you, man?
So yes, we will.
Okay, so trying to catch up on the chat. Sean, Alaska. Yes, we can grow sugarcane here. It is very commonly grown here. We personally don't grow it. We actually talked about growing it in our deer fields this year, but we have not done it because we doubled that as a cow paddock. So yes and no. We don't grow it, but there's a lot of people that do grow sugarcane. We actually don't. Um, we don't really like molasses or cane syrup too much,
We
but it's
would
a very
prefer
popular
honey.
thing. It's a very popular thing here, though.
Yes,
Great
it
question,
is.
Sean, Alaska. What's your favorite thing in the garden this year? What would you say? Fancy farmhouse.
Mine, peas and beans.
Cherokee purple tomatoes. Let's see. Yeah, Prep Day Banana Benda, it is hot here too, so I understand completely where you're coming from.
Yeah, today with that on and off was totally, um, totally humid. I saw somebody ask something about delivery a while ago.
I'm just trying to catch
Lazy
up.
C said that she had small babies. I had one 6 pound.
What's
All
up,
the rest
Chris?
of
How are you,
mine
man?
were 7, except for Sayla. She was well over 8.
Yeah,
It's going so
we
fast.
had.
I can
I
hardly
don't have to watch
breathe.
on my phone, so I'm sorry. That's why I'm actually in the chat, but I'm looking at here. I feel like I'm just like not paying attention.
He's reading from his phone because it's easier to control up and down.
The thing about tomatoes, we had a lot of people ask this on our comments. Was you see we pulled tomatoes, and now our tomatoes are all red, of course, from the other day. But we have to pull ours so soon. We don't use any pesticides. I know most of y'all probably don't either, but because in our humid climate and in the south, bugs here thrive. I mean, you just don't have enough good bugs to outweigh your bad bugs. So for us, we know we're going to lose some to varmints or animals or whatever it may be, insects. So we have to pull them as soon as possible because if we don't, we won't have any tomatoes. And that goes for any other. Um, I mean, it's like the pink. I mean, we were actually going to leave some of these on vine, the purple beans to seed. But to be honest with you, we have to have it. Yes, I'm answering questions.
Because I saw a question, but it's passed on here, and I don't know.
What would you like to listen to?
Somebody asked something about the delivery. Mom, I know you had me natural. I'm not looking forward to this natural delivery because I have chosen to have this one unmedicated and epidural free. So y'all start praying for me now. I'm not as long as everything's uncomplicated, healthy pregnancy, and I don't have to go in early for any reason. I do plan to have a natural birth this time.
I would. Yeah, like some of y'all that's up north and y'all are having the 80s and 90s and 100s. I imagine that's tough for y'all. We're
All right,
used to
there
it.
it is. She said, "Will your tailbone be an issue in this delivery?" I hope not. I had several people telling me that I could have tailbone issues for the rest of my life, and at about that 2 to 2.5 week mark, when all of the inflammation went down, I was able to start walking normally, and sit down again. Now, I think okay. So I don't want to start telling y'all positions, but in a nutshell, babies are supposed to be born face down, and Jenny was born face up. So that means his skull was on my tailbone through the entire process. And if he did not fracture it, he caused a lot of pain and a lot of swelling, inflammation, and it took me several weeks to recover from that. But no, I have not had any issues. Once the inflammation went down, my tailbone has been fine, but I have had back issues that I have contributed to epidural. So we will not do epidural this time.
Okay, single dad, we've talked about doing the midwife and home birth. However, there is not one close enough with the 6th child. Misty likes to have babies quick, so there's no midwife that's close. We're actually on
2 hours away.
Yeah, so we're going to have to go to the hospital and still have the baby. We are having all natural this year. She says she is. So we'll let her decide.
Y'all better be praying for me, but y'all pray for him too.
Fancy Farmer says, Colby volunteers to take the kids out to the pool so you can make zucchini bread. I'm actually off the next few days. So
We'll get it
she better
done.
get some cucumbers done.
I'm doing
And zucchini
pickles
bread.
and
We got tomatoes running our ears too, so
I'm
we got to
doing
do tomato
pickles
sauce
and
too.
pasta sauce tomorrow.
We need to do a pasta sauce video. We've got to knock out some of these videos for sure.
Easy. I don't can it
did.
like in a pressure canner. It's just hot water bath because that's all that I can mentally take at this time. So I don't pressure can because I have too many distractions like Jennings coloring on the bed with
The
lipstick.
ninja. All right, Elizabeth knows. We do make insecticide. We do have a video for insecticides for our cows and for animals. We don't use those on the
I
on the
have used
vegetables.
garlic and
we've
a
used
garlic spray that had some different essential oils.
citronella. I think
But our garden is so
our garden is
is
10,000 square foot, so it's almost impossible for us to make enough insecticide to justify it. It's like me and Misty were talking.
our garden
All
is
right,
huge.
when we get to a point where we have to pick our battles. So like for instance, corn. We want to grow corn here. However, corn is not easily grown in our area without chemical. So we spend all this money to fertilize the natural way. I'm talking about organic fertilization, which costs more: blood meal, cottonseed meal, natural fertilization such as bone meal, chickens, pigs. So basically, our corn costs us a lot of money to grow. It's worth it, but at the same time,
it still has a lot of worms.
Peas cost hardly nothing to grow for us because they do great in our climate, our area.
With with really essentially no bugs.
Right. So when we pick our battles, we realize sometimes it's not worth trying to treat because we have afternoon rains a lot in the south.
Single dad.
See you, single dad. So if we tried to put as much essential oil and sprays on our garden as we could, we'd be spending so much money to not have not to have that much more harvest.
It would literally take us a whole day
just to spray everything. If we
the garden is so big.
I know y'all. I don't know if y'all seen videos on our organic fertilization. So we do a lot of organic fertilization with our compost and with our chickens and pigs and all that, supplementing that. We use a lot of liquid spray such as fish emulsion and deep kelp. The only thing about that though, it takes us really hours to fertilize our garden because of the way we have to do it. So that's why we really are careful on not doing anything to our garden.
My babies were 9, 8, 10, and preemie. Yeah, I'd be in trouble if I had a 10-pound. But
Hat Creek has a lot more kids than us. They said 3 is no more challenge or 4. So they have 10 kids, I think.
Oh, wow.
She said. Let's see.
Yeah, I would say that our biggest adjustment was probably going from 2 to 3 because then we were officially outnumbered. When we would go out and do things or whatever, it's not like you have this one and I have this one. And then when you have 3, it kind of throws a whole nother
element to it.
Yeah, I think about 3, but our 3rd was our easiest, most laid back. Well, she's not now. I'll tell her I said that.
She's our gold digger.
But but as a baby, she was very, nothing bothered her. If somebody took something from her, she didn't care. She didn't fuss about it. She was very, content. So, but it was different from going from 2 to 3 for
They're
us.
talking about these big kids, babies. They had 10 and 12 pounders. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Well, I will say that Peanut is making me outgrow my clothes really fast.
She's starting to look like me.
And I don't like that very much because I'm thinking I still have a long ways to go. I don't need my small shirts to be.
We don't. Our cabin in the
woods.
Looking
like I already got a basketball.
Our cabin in the woods. We've talked about doing canning meat. Actually, Mike Pratt's been pushing me to do it. So we're going to look into it. We don't really can because we've had freezer space for so long. We have generators to run our freezer space, and then we go crazy and cooking. But we're starting to run out of freezer space. So we may try canning it.
Y'all don't be telling me those weights. I can't handle those weights.
No twins. No way.
It's just one. I went my first few weeks, and I've had 2 ultrasounds done, and the last one just showed 1. So.
We had twins. I'd probably pass out.
Mama has her money on a boy. She says she thinks it's going to be a boy.
We will soon see.
Actually, Jen was 10 pounds, 6.5 pounds. 10 pounds, Wait, what does that say? 10, 6.5 ounces. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying now. I had to read it a few times.
North Star Prep Standard, if you were not fully across the United States, that would be a great option because we need to can. We really do. We don't can. We hot water bath. I'm talking about pressure canning. We don't do. We need to because we have so much food, which is a blessing. I'm not complaining by any means. But one thing I've always learned in homesteading is redundancy. And I've been talking about that lately on my videos and with people around here. We need you need to have redundancy. If you make peas this way, you need to have peas this way, and peas this way, so that way you always are taking care of your situations. If your freezers go out or you start eating all that, you have to can. So.
13. Y'all gotta quit talking about these poundage. Y'all are freaking me out a little bit.
That's crazy. I don't even know what.
I'll have to go on a no sugar diet at the end of my pregnancy to make sure that we don't have no 13-pounder.
Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy.
They would have to literally.
Thank you, Miss Cecilia, for coming on.
They would have to sedate.
Oh my gosh, we've been on for an hour.
Oh wow, we have, haven't we?
We've just had so much fun, and I'm sorry we were terrible on trying to keep up with the chat tonight. We were well, so sorry about that. But thank y'all so much for coming on. I tell you, join Chris at Single Dad. He comes on next. Just a great guy. I love when y'all talk a lot and we have to try to keep up with the chat. I think it's awesome.
I do too.
It's
because we get to learn more and know more about y'all. I mean, y'all know a lot about us because we show y'all videos all the time. And I finished shelling all my beans. I just finished.
But you need to, Misty. Sometimes Misty talks a little too much on the one questions. She needs to keep going on the chat. So I try. You'll see me. I'll try to like do this little hand motion, and then speed it up, speed up the talk. So. Just slap me when we get out the chat.
I'll do it now.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for coming on. Thank y'all again for all the ones that gave us super chats. That means the world to us.
It really does. It really does.
It really does. So thank y'all so much for coming on. And I always enjoy Wednesday nights. You know, sometimes we have to run in because it's crazy. We moved sheep and pigs today, and like Misty said, we were picking the garden and making spaghetti, and it seems like sometimes it's so hard. But I absolutely love getting home.
I do too.
It's always a blast. Our kids are always like, "Oh, it's live night."
They have to be still and
I know they actually have to be quiet. So thank y'all again for coming on. Thank you for hanging out with us, and God bless.
Happy homesteading, y'all.
Happy homesteading, y'all.